Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. You're tuned into Women's AM with myself, Ayan, and on the panel today we have our sisters Liz, Zainab, and our special guest, Sister Tamina. How are you, sisters?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, Sister Tamina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I currently work in a Catholic school as an RE teacher, and I'm just a secondary school teacher, and I've been, this is my first year of being qualified, so yeah.
MashaAllah, congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you find it being a teacher in a Catholic school?
Really, really scary. I don't know, it has its ups and downs. I like the fact that everyone believes in God, and that's nice to be in a state school, a public school, where everyone kind of, believes in God and like agrees with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But sometimes, there's a lot of Jesus, a lot of, idolizing a little bit there, and I just sometimes feel uncomfortable. So obviously I don't pray with them, but you get the ups and downs, and at the moment I am happy, alhamdulillah, and the kids are amazing, so.
That's really good.
What made you pick RE?
I don't know, I got into religion a lot more once I finished university, and I just felt like I want to explore it a little further and think about other religions as well as Islam, and I got into Islam more as well, alhamdulillah, so I felt like I want to kind of express what I feel to other people, so RE kind of went down.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. Yeah, it's a little odd, isn't it, a Muslim teacher teaching RE at a Catholic school.
Everyone's always like, I'm looking forward to parents' evening.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, mashallah. So let's go now on to our next segment with her views. Navigating our children's education can be a confusing process and raise many unexpected issues. A deeper look at what our children may be experiencing at school unveils some concerning issues that we as parents and guardians of our youth must be aware of. As our school teaches relationship advice and perspective on religion and life, an understanding of these subjects are vital. Today, we hope to shine a light on the nature of the UK's education system, looking at the areas that may concern us and may affect the Islamic personality of our youth. Before we go to the sisters, let's have a look at this clip.
Education is a very important part of a person's life. It gives us knowledge, a sense of confidence, skill to grow, explore and understand the world around us. Education starts at a very young age and plays a vital part in building a child's personality, and they do so through the school's curriculum and values. One subject that has been added to the curriculum has been that of SRE, short for Sexual and Relations Education, and this inclusion has left many communities from religious backgrounds in a very compromising position. SRE is learning about the emotional, social and physical aspects of growing up, relationships and sexual health. A worrying trend is that many Muslim parents don't know what is being taught to their children, and this may be having an effect on the child with values being taught at school contradicting those being taught at home. With SRE being very much part of the curriculum, should parents be taking a more active role in their children's education and take their children out of such lessons, or should children be exposed to ideas prevalent in society?
That was a really interesting clip there. Sister Liz, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was interesting. It does just highlight the importance of parents taking an interest, a keen interest, an active interest in children's education, because, looking at that, this subject of SRE is something very new, obviously wasn't there when I was at school, so it's really interesting to see it being taught now and to know, the ins and outs of what that actually means for our children.
Yeah, absolutely. What has your experience been as a parent or guardian where your child's education is concerned, and how have you dealt with issues taught in school that contradict what you teach your children? If any of you would like to join in our discussion today, you can call the studio live. The number is on your screens and we'd love to hear from you. So, Sister Tamina, coming to you, if we look at especially primary education, what are the sort of subjects that we should be aware of?
I think RE, PSHE and citizenship, all those subjects they all come together at the moment, and you have the SRE as well. So you have these subjects coming together, and because it's primary school, you don't have set lessons, so it's good to ask the teacher when are they doing these subjects, and if you're uncomfortable, because they're getting younger and younger now when they're teaching a lot of sex education. I don't know if there's a debate when it's right and wrong to teach a child sex education, but I feel like as a parent, you should ask when they're doing it, and you can pull them out as well. So you can say, no, I don't want that taught at the moment, and you can say that's it.
I mean, you know, why is SRE such an issue, you know, for parents? I mean, surely it's something that we should, you know, teach our children, something that they should become aware of.
Absolutely, I think our children are exposed to sexual content. We know they do. So whether it's from the media, just people on the street, or even just friends. There's a while ago a story about these coloured bands that girls would wear, and then boys would snap like different colours, and it would actually represent different sexual favours, stuff like that. So that was a while ago. Recently in the news, there's a lot of concern about young teenage boys viewing pornography and things like that. So it is a fact, and this is something that we have to deal with. We can't just stick our heads in the ground and just ignore that it exists. So the thing is that there has to be addressed, but how? So when we look at SRE and other issues, you know, other subjects that are taught in UK schools, of course what they're going to do is reinforce or basically mould the children's mentality in terms of the values of the country that they're in. So what we're finding is SRE, for example, is taught not as this is good and this is bad. It's about educating or just explaining to the children about the harms of you know, the different activities. Yeah. And to prevent pregnancy ultimately, and they feel that by educating them more, it will prevent this. Subhanallah, but as Muslims we know this isn't the way that we teach our children. This isn't, you know, this idea of neither teaching what is right and what is wrong. It prevents this like mentality of morality, of, you know, it just makes everything okay. It's just depending on how you want to live, and this isn't something that we can accept. Islam has a very specific way of viewing problems, isn't it, and of solving them. And the way we deal with relationships in a very specific way is in marriage. It's not, you know, we cannot indulge our desires in any way we want, and we can see the harms of that mentality in society. So, subhanAllah, you know, having this relationship in a secure environment is very important.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think what struck me when I was, you know, my daughter's 2, so this was very new to me, and I have to say, quite worrying as well. But looking what this SRE actually is, one of the definitions was learning about the emotional, social and physical aspects of growing up, relationships, sex, human sexuality and sexual advice. And this is so broad, it's almost like they want to just sort of cover a blanket over everything and catch everything. It was on one hand about the sanctity of marriage and how you know, sexual relationships should be part of a loving relationship, but on the other hand it also covers teenage pregnancy, STIs, abortion, homosexuality, all this kind of thing. So I think when I read it, I thought, wow, it's no wonder the kids are confused, because it doesn't seem to be tackling it from one viewpoint or the other. And I think Islamically, when we look at this issue, we're not saying that SRE has no place in schools, you know, far from it. You know, there is the hadith that states, "Blessed are the women of the Ansar, the helpers. Shyness did not stand in their way of seeking knowledge about their religion." So we know that these women asked questions about very sensitive areas of, you know, intimate relationships or this kind of thing. But we just have to be aware that these things are being taught to our children in an Islamic context. You know, as I said, the sanctity of marriage, the impermissibility of zina, free mixing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so basically the appropriateness of what you're explaining, how you're explaining it, and especially the age group that you're talking to.
Absolutely.
Because it's quite worrying that they're starting to do some of these things at a primary school level.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? It's the age at which it's introduced, and obviously, you know, Islamic issues are something that we're going to be introducing to our children, as you say, when we feel they're sort of ready for it, and to kind of hit them with all this at such a young age, I think is far too much for them to be able to.
I mean, what are the areas of concern in secondary schools? I mean, we've talked about primary school, but Sister Tamina, since you're a secondary school teacher, you can kind of inform us about that.
I feel like teaching certain aspects, you don't get it too much in a Catholic school, but for example, sexuality, I feel like when you teach something like that at such a young age, even year 7 or year 8, it's kind of, it makes the kids think that it's acceptable and it's okay, you know, it's okay to do, you know, and because they're in a school environment, maybe the parents might not talk about it as freely, so the kids might say
but
it's
in
fine.
terms of, you know, sort of like these sorts of sex advice and relationship advice, I mean, what should we be concerned about, especially at that age, secondary school age, where they're all, you know, teenagers are having sort of these changes and, you know, the hormones, you know, increasing and being different. I mean, what should we worry about?
I don't think that you should like